The air was cold and heavy as the old elevator creaked its way upward. A lone woman stood inside the elevator, clutching her phone so tightly like it's their lifeline. The hour was late, far too late for anyone to be in the building. Even she knew that. And she was scared, so overly terrified of what she's about to do. But she pressed on, entering the sequence 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, and 5, the buttons of the elevator. The elevator stopped at the 5th floor. The door slid open to an empty hallway, bathed in an unnatural red glow of the lights. Or maybe it wasn't empty. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw a figure, a woman, stepping into the elevator. Her mind started panicking, her inner voice screaming the rules of the game that she was currently playing. Do not speak. Do not acknowledge her. Heart racing, she stayed silent as the elevator moved toward the 10th floor. She thought, this is it. I finally did it. I'm in the other world. People say that the elevator game is a doorway, a portal, or a bridge between our world and something else. Something we were never meant to see. But there are rules that you can never break, making your journey to and from the alternate world. What happens when you break them? This game is not just an urban legend, but it has also been linked to the murder case of a young woman who had mysteriously disappeared. Her last moments were captured in an elevator, her erratic behavior haunting and unexplained. What happened to her remains a mystery, and her case is unsolved until today. Content warning. This video includes description of violence, murder, death, rituals, and other supernatural content. Listener discretion is advised, as some stories may be unsettling or sensitive to certain audiences. Turn down the lights, snuggle up tight, and get ready for another Tuck Tale. What happens when the line between fact and folklore blurs? Welcome to Tuck Tales, where urban legends meet true crime and myth aren't always just stories. My name is Afrina, your host for the episode.
And my name is Tiski.
And today I'm gonna take you on a journey to another world through the elevator game that originates from South Korea. Have you heard of the elevator game before?
Yeah, I've heard about it, but I'm not quite sure where it come from.
So people say that it originated from South Korea, and as the introduction goes, the game called Elevator Game or Elevator to Another World is a game that would supposedly take you to another dimension or alternate universe.
Wow.
If you believe in alternate universe. There's a belief that if performed correctly, you would be transported to another dimension, but if you didn't perform it correctly, bad things would happen. Now, if you guys want to play the game, I'll teach you the ways of the game right now, but for you guys who are watching, please think twice before attempting it. It's quite eerie and scary and maybe a bit dangerous even. So the rules of the game are simple. If you have it written down on a piece of paper or your phone at least, because it's long. Let's get all of the requirements out of the way first. Number 1 is that you need to play the game alone. And number 2 is that you need to be in a building that has at least 10 floors or more. And you have to start over if other people get on the elevator. So preferably maybe you'll have to do it at night when there are not a lot of people. But doesn't it make it even more scary to do it at night? But there is one exception to this rule, though that one you'll have to wait and see later. Now let's get into the rules. You board the elevator on the 1st floor and press the button to the 4th floor. Once the door opens, close it back and then go to the 2nd floor. And then once you go on the 2nd floor, you go back to the 6th floor and then back to the 2nd floor. So it's a lot of rules that if you don't have it written down, it's a bit hard to remember. Once you're on the 2nd floor, you gotta press 10th floor and then back to the 5th floor. And here's where it gets creepy. In some cases, a woman would board the elevator on this floor with you. Some say that she would look like just any normal stranger, or others say that she would resemble a face that's buried in your past, maybe someone you've been friends with, or it could also be someone who's passed away that's close to you. So you might have this urge or this tendency to try to talk to this person, but you are under no circumstance to engage with her, whether you just looking at her or just speaking, because she's not a human. Some claim that if you acknowledge her even a little bit, she'll take you straight to another world with no chance of escaping. And now this is where your fate lies. The last step is to press the button back to your starting point, the first floor. And if the elevator does indeed go back to the first floor, the game or the ritual has essentially failed, and you can say that someone out there, some divine power, is not letting you near their world. But if you press the first floor and you don't actually go to the first floor, if the car suddenly goes up instead of down, you can tell that it has worked, that you are currently leaving our world. If you realize that you don't want to do this actually, when the elevator is going up from the first floor to the 10th floor, you realize, oh my god, this is not real, like I'm scared. You can try to stop the elevator by pressing any of the buttons in the middle to cancel the game. But if you want to continue the game, you'd eventually reach the 10th floor. Once you've exited, and mind you, you remember this woman that just still entered the elevator with you? She'll try to engage with you. She'll be like, Disky, where are you going? Don't leave. Do not answer her. And once you exit, congratulations, you've reached the other world. So that's the game.
If I am the one who played the game, I wouldn't be able to finish it.
Would you be scared?
Yeah.
Do you believe that this could somehow lead you to another world?
I don't know. I don't believe so, because maybe I will get problem with the technician or the staff where the building is, because I've been keeping on pressing number button.
In the CCTV, they're like, what is this girl doing? That's funny. But for you guys who wants to continue the game, it is said that once you leave the 10th floor, you will find yourself in another world. Sometimes they call it the other world, where electronics don't work and everything is dark, save for a bright red cross that may be reflected in the windows. Do not lose sight of the elevator you arrived in, because it's the only way that you can go back to your old world. If you've left the elevator, then you have to go back inside the elevator to repeat the ritual and come back to your world. So you go to the 4th floor, then 2nd floor, 6th floor, 2nd floor, 10th floor, 5th, and then finally on the 1st floor. The elevator will begin to ascend to the 10th floor instead. If you're suddenly going back down and then the elevator is suddenly going back up, you have to press any of the buttons to stop the elevator before you pass the 9th floor. So sometimes people have come out to say that when they're trying to get back to their world, the elevator won't let them, and it keeps trying to go back to the 10th floor. So you'll just have to try and stop the elevator before it goes to the 10th floor. When you reach the 1st floor, do not exit until you check your surroundings very carefully. If even the smallest detail seems off, you have to stay in the elevator and repeat the ritual again until you're very confident that you are safely in your own world. Which is a bit hard to do, right? How do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know if it's your own world or an alternate world or whatever? There are so many stories online about the game going right or going wrong, and you can read like a lot of them on Reddit. Some people have tried it and they said that it didn't work. Some people tried it and they said that they felt really uneasy and they think that they made it to the other world. But one real connection that has been made is to a murder that happened in 2013 at an infamously very haunted hotel. And it has been whispered amongst many that before she had died, she was playing the elevator game. It is the case of Elisa Lam.
Oh,
do you know her
yeah.
case?
That's a really famous case.
Yeah, it is from 2013. Have you seen the video surrounding?
Yeah.
It's really creepy, right?
There are a lot of theories of what happened. So it's a game.
I'll tell you about it, because some
okay.
people they have the connection of the game. Now, I'm not saying that I believe the elevator game is what caused her death, but because her death was never solved, a lot of people had tried to make connections wherever they can. And because this is a story that's never solved, they tend to walk towards the supernatural. But in my opinion, I believe that her killer is still out there and it's just never solved. But some people had made the connection to supernatural and this elevator game before. Now, I'm gonna share a shortened version of it, but if you guys want a full dive in with the case, aside from the elevator game part, just let me know, okay? Elisa Lam, a 22-year-old university student, wanted to do something different and take a solo trip to the United States of America. She was from Vancouver, Canada. So she took a trip to Los Angeles and she checked in to the Cecil Hotel. The Cecil Hotel in of itself has a lot of rumors, but it's not branded as a safe hotel because at that day and age it had been branded as a budget hotel and it had a status of being a scandalous hotel due to having lots of drugs, robberies, and prostitutes around the area. She was last seen alive on January 31st, 2013, and her parents reported her missing on February 8th. A manager found her body in a water tank on the roof of the hotel, which is why it took the police so long to find her because they couldn't find her normally. She was in the water tank. They wouldn't have found her if he didn't get complaints from customers about water pressure in their toilets, which led him to find the body in the water tank. And get this, guys, some people even drank the water and reported it, saying that the water was murky, it was a little bit red, and they tasted iron. It must have been from her blood.
Yeah.
But they didn't know. Now, the weird part is that no CCTV caught her except from only a short CCTV footage from an elevator. Do you want to see the video again?
Sure. Who is she hiding from?
Nobody knows.
And why the elevator door
Isn't
didn't close?
closing, right?
Yeah.
And
took a
she's
long
already
time.
pressed so many
Yeah.
buttons. And she's acting so weird. Maybe she's trying to get the elevator closed. I thought someone outside was like pressing it open, but she went outside and checked,
Yeah.
and it was still not closing.
That's really weird.
You see how like people can make the connection of the elevator game?
Mhm.
Like sometimes maybe she went out, she tried to check if it's her world or something.
Oh yeah. And then she looked panicking. She looked panicked.
She keeps pressing everything.
Hmm.
So weird, right?
Yeah. And then like she looked like she was talking to someone.
Yeah. But why is the elevator not closing?
Hmm. Even until now, there isn't an explainable reason
Yeah.
for that.
To some people, it looks like she was arguing with someone, or maybe a person outside was pressing the button open, but nobody knows because we couldn't really tell from the CCTV. And a lot of people had made the connection with an elevator game because her hand movements are a bit strange and erratic, like she's conjuring a spirit or talking to someone outside of the elevator. And then she suddenly counts her fingers and then she kept pressing the buttons. When I first watched the video, I was actually spooked.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually scary. Some people think that maybe she was on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
That could be why she was acting like that.
Did they autopsy her?
I have no idea, but they probably did. They probably did. But people knew that she was suicidal. They found her Tumblr accounts and she was talking about how she's been sad and stuff.
Oh my god.
So I honestly don't know what's going on. Of course, there might be a plausible explanation as to why she was acting that way in the elevator, but until now, no explanation has been given, which leads people to see the connection between her case and the supernatural. But yeah, that is the story of the elevator game and the unsolved murder case of Elisa Lam, even though we didn't dive in too deep to her case, because it's just one of the more popular examples that I wanted to tie in with the elevator game. But what do you think?
I don't know. It's so strange, but maybe she probably used drugs. Or maybe she is talking to her killer
Maybe.
and trying to reason with him.
Yeah. But he never stepped foot inside the elevator. For the elevator game itself, do you believe that?
I don't believe it. But do you?
No, I don't think it's possible, but a lot of people always talked about it. Like, you know how games, they're always so creepy and stuff?
People wanted to try.
But would you try it?
I mean, I would if I will not get into problem.
Alone?
Yeah. Because I don't believe it actually come true.
But I feel like my imagination is so wild that I will get scared for no reason.
I see.
I don't think I would try it anytime soon. But if you guys want a deep dive to Elisa Lam's case, please let me know, okay? I will research it and then I will tell you the whole story.
Yay, I'm so excited.
If you're someone who loves creepy stories based on urban legends, just tune in on all podcasting platforms every Tuesday of the week for Diski's episodes and every Friday for my episode. That's all. Bye-bye.
Bye.